Hi everyone, how are you? Um, I am in a really I'm in a somber mood right now. I'm really sorry to say that our missing mom here in Minnesota, Maddie Kingsbury, her body has been found. Um, it's not what anybody wanted, but it's what everybody basically knew. Um, it is heartbreaking because she did everything for her kids. And that's what she wanted to continue to do. And she was doing everything right. And she went to the court and got awarded full custody of the children. Her partner that she was living with, the children's father, did not get custody, and she was planning on moving out. So, one of the most dangerous times in a relationship is when the finality of it all comes together. So it sounds as if there was some problems. I don't know the extent or truly if there was actual domestic violence or not. Enough that she was leaving and she made a plan. I think that it's an important concept right now to remind everybody that even if there has not been domestic violence, if you feel unsafe in any way, reach out to the domestic violence hotlines. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is incredibly helpful. Talk your plan through them. They will help you to make logical, safe steps. And it's a sounding board and it's confidential. And as the next week's news will probably unravel, we may glean more into knowing that. And it's hard for me to word this right, but what I said previously is what I'm trying to explain is that there's great danger in that end of the relationship, especially when there's children involved. So this was there's a concept called separation assault, and sounds like this is what happened. Um, I'm I'm just so sad. In Minnesota, we're very close knit. When somebody needs help, people will stop everything and help, and they will run to help. And that is what has been happening here since the day that she went missing. You feel as if Maddie is everybody's daughter, friend. She's that girl. She's that girl who did the arts and crafts, who prioritized her children, and she had an amazing career. She had done a lot of research, human subject research, and she was a researcher for the Mayo Clinic, and just just dynamic on all accounts. Her family is so proud of her. When they talk about her, you you learn their love for her through them. And this whole thing has been very, very somber. They've had very, very well organized searches, there could have only been a very small area in which her partner could have went. I'll explain that. And it sounds that her body was located in Mabel, which is close to there by ground penetrating radar. So at 7:30 tonight, so about 5 or 6 hours ago, the confirmation came out, and Adam Fravel is in custody. Her family is confident that the right person is in custody, that he is responsible for Maddie no longer being there for her children. I having problems with my microphone, and so I keep checking back. My last few recordings have not had audio on them, so I'm sorry if I'm a little paranoid and coming right back. So we're gonna come. There we go. I just popped that again. We're gonna come over here. So in the search, so that's Madeline, and her family called her Maddie, and they spelled it with 1D when they did. And now they're calling him the ex-boyfriend. He's been listed as ex-boyfriend, partner, a couple of things. His name is Adam Fravel, Fravel. He is the father of Madeline Kingsbury's 2 children. And he is arrested. He is in custody. We're going to go right here. And this just was posted 1 hour ago. Her family confirmed it about 4 or 5 hours ago, or I was not going to talk about it until the family definitely confirmed it and said that he is the one that needs to be behind bars. I will link this to the other Madeline Kingsbury content that I put together, so it will be all in a playlist, and so you can see the documents as they came up. I put up our local news on my community board. I don't know how long that shows. But it was really sad last week because it was her birthday, and she had the cutest dad, and he's that dad, and I know that as a young adult, I hated it because my dad would call me every morning on my birthday, and I didn't want to be talking to my dad, and it didn't matter. He didn't care. He didn't care how our relationship was or not. He would call and sing me happy birthday and tell me the details of the day that I was born. And her dad last week said those same type of things. So he got up there and he sang her happy birthday. And my father is no longer here as of, 15 years has been passed, and I miss those calls so much. And to hear him talk on the reverse of how he misses her, he can't get a hold of her to sing that to her. It's very, very sad. He said that she was the kind of kid that loved her birthday party so much that she didn't actually like the birthday. Like, the birthday was there, but she was already planning for next year's birthday. She wanted that birthday, that party. She loved to decorate and have those kind of things and that plan. And she's just a natural beauty, as you can see here. So this is provided by the Winona Police Department. And it says here the 2-month search for Madeline Kingsbury ended tragically Wednesday with the discovery of the body and an arrest of her ex-boyfriend. Finally, Kingsbury's sister Megan said on TikTok, "We're glad he's in custody. He's not walking around a free man anymore." Now, I do know, and I did post yesterday, that her children were ruled to stay in the custody of her family yesterday. So yesterday there was the custody hearing where it could have went back to him or his family, and it did not. They ruled that the children were to remain in there, and the children were taken quite early in the investigation. And that's in my other content that it will be linked, and it'll explain more about that. Didn't even know which kid went in what car seat. There were some real concerns, it seemed, as to his competency of caring for the children. Now, Kingsbury, a 26-year-old, Kingsbury, 26, was a research coordinator at the Mayo Clinic. She was last seen the morning of March 31st, dropping her kids off at daycare with their father, Adam Fravel, a software engineer. He told cops they then went back to her apartment in Winona and that he left to run errands, only to find she was gone when he returned. It's his story, and he's sticking to it, unfortunately. From the start, police said they feared for Kingsbury's safety, calling her disappearance involuntary and suspicious. Her cell phone, wallet, and ID were found in the home, and there was no indication that she had traveled on foot or by car. 12 days after Kingsbury's disappearance, Fravel issued a statement denying that he had anything to do with it. Over the course of the last 12 days, my family and I have been subjected to a myriad of accusations regarding the disappearance of the mother of my children, Maddie Kingsbury, he said. Now, right there, they have it with the two D's, but it's with the D that her family writes it. And it says, during these last 12 days, I have cooperated with law enforcement at every turn, including sitting down for multiple interviews with Winona County law enforcement. I did not have anything to do with Maddie's disappearance. I want the mother of my 5-year-old and 2-year-old to be found and brought home safely. I want that more than anything. Fravel said that his absence at press conferences and the community searches has been misinterpreted as a sign of guilt. That could not be further from the truth, he added. Weeks later, Fravel petitioned for custody of the kids ages 5 and 2 and was turned down. On Wednesday afternoon, a Fillmore County Sheriff's deputy acting on information gleaned during the investigation found human remains in some brush off Highway 43 in Mabel, Minnesota. Because of this, law enforcement personnel have arrested Adam Fravel on probable cause in connection to her disappearance, Winona police said on Facebook. They said authorities were working to definitively identify the body. And that's where I did not want to say anything until her family confirmed it. And her family did confirm that tonight. And let's see here. Let's go back a little bit. Now, Fox News reports here that Madeline Kingsbury's family says the right person is in custody after X is arrested. And it shows there that Adam Fravel was taken into custody on suspicion of murder following the discovery of a body. And here she is. Isn't she just beautiful? Look at how she lights up with her daughter. I don't know if I can play this content and not get struck down, so I'm not going to. I'm kind of showing you where you can find these articles and see these pictures. And again, on my community post, like I say, I don't know how long those show, but I have been putting up everything as it is released each day. Each day that there is something relevant, I should say. So now the Fox News goes on to say missing Minnesota mom Madeline Kingsbury's family says they believe the right person is in custody. Police confirmed the arrest of the father and former partner of the 26-year-old who mysteriously disappeared in March, News Digital has learned. The family believes the right person is in custody and holding out hope that we're going to find Madeline. Rebecca Jacobson, Kingsbury's aunt, said in a statement to Fox News Digital. That doesn't make sense. Right there, that sentence. It says they believe the right person is in custody and holding out hope that we're going to find Madeline. When this news article might have been released prior to the family confirming. And it says here that the Winona Police Department said the arrest of Kingsbury's former partner and the father of her 2 children, Adam Fravel, came after human remains were found in Mayville, Minnesota on Wednesday, June 7th. So earlier today. And it says we've been informed that Adam is in custody, Kingsbury's father said in a statement to Fox News Digital. How beautiful she is. It says Fravel, 29, was listed on the jail roster page of Winona County Sheriff's Office Wednesday, which notes he is being held on suspicion of second-degree murder. The department said in a Facebook post that a body was found in some brush off Highway 43 and was located using information generated during the investigation. And this is because of this, law enforcement personnel have arrested Adam Fravel on probable cause in connection to her disappearance. They wrote that in the private Facebook, stated here by Fox. And it says law enforcement agencies are working to positively identify the remains. He looks very different in this picture here. Do you notice that? Very different than what he looks right now. 2 months of guilt and probable remorse may have taken its toll. It's just so sad. There was no reason for this. There never is a reason, but And then this goes on to say, Winona Police Chief Tom Williams previously said that Kingsbury's disappearance was believed to be involuntary and suspicious, and police were concerned for her safety. And this just repeats what the others said. And there's a picture of Adam. And this is where it shows here court documents previously obtained by Fox News Digital detail Fravel not cooperating with Child Protection Services while attempting to reclaim custody of them. Those are the ones that I've covered, and they're linked in this playlist. The playlist I will put is podcast style, so you can listen to everything, and it will all be then chronological from most current to earliest, as it will be in there. And this is where it's pointing at that. It says, at one point, Fravel took the younger child into the residence and locked the door despite being told the children were in the care and custody of Winona County. A petition filed April 4 by Winona County Health and Human Services alleges. While Fravel was in the home with the younger child, a social worker could hear Fravel shouting expletives. Now, this is her family, and they made the sweatshirts, and this whole time they really, really kept everything as organized as could be. Now, one of the things that was very significant about the timing of when she went missing is that we had a very, very severe storm. One of the worst late winter, early spring blizzards that we've ever had. And so visibility was basically zero. The state patrol for the whole state wanted people off the road because they could not keep up with the calls. So, that being said, she went missing the day before when the storm had started. And so it was a storm starting with a lot of thunder and lightning and wind, and then the snow. And then we had the storm warnings, and then it went into the blizzard. So it was in a very sparsely populated area, not very many traffic cams or businesses that would have cameras at all. So that's where they were able to see which direction he was heading, and the only place he could have been for the short amount of time that there was. So it was a very targeted area in which they were focusing. A lot of that area was unsafe to search because of the flooding and the unstable ground. We've had a lot of weather issues going on. So the family worked with law enforcement and other search agencies that all came on a volunteer basis. Nobody asked for anything except for the tragedy pimp that came into town and ended up causing a lot of chaos and may possibly have caused one of the searches that was supposed to happen on Mother's Day to not happen. And that's the point, is that here in the Midwest, in Minnesota, people go and they donate their time. And the people that came, a lot of horseback riders came, and they came on horses, and the whole equestrian network would get together and they would meet up. If somebody had a horse but they didn't have a trailer and somebody had an extra room in their trailer, they would meet up. Like the people who had never met before, they would meet up so that they could go on horseback and search these areas that people could not safely walk. They did not want people doing independent searches whatsoever. So when the tragedy pimp came to town trying to do that and trying to get the publicity for herself, because she had raised funds for herself to come out and acted like the funds were being raised to find Madeline, it was very frustrating, because that's not what this family has ever been about. That's not what the searchers were ever about. That's not what anybody and any of us have ever wanted. Would never wanted. As everybody communicated so well that when they needed people, it was there. You could offer and say, hey, I'm available this time, that time. And they would be able to say, they're not going to do anything this time. They want this area searched at that time. And they would have specific and concise instructions for the people searching. This was not anything like amateurs going out or anything. This was, and then the areas that were searched were marked off. And the sheriff would work with the property owners. So the property owners in the area, because this is very rural, would go and search their property, and then they'd call in and say, hey, this area did not have anything, so we'll cross this off. And they kept, just kind of going there and then figuring out more and more concise areas in which needed to be searched. This was done very, very well, and the teamwork and the volunteer work is just so inspiring. It makes you remember that there is good in humanity, and that there are good people who volunteer when somebody has a loved one missing. And that's what it is about. It is about volunteering. It is never to be for profit or to make people feel like they need to give donations. Now, this article from Fox talks more about that non-cooperative attitude that he had, and arguably his children were being taken away. He's innocent until proven guilty with our judicial system. So you could argue that any father in that position would maybe have that reaction. I don't think that it's appropriate for him to be screaming expletives in front of the children, which are already missing their mom because their mom was usually the one who would pick them up from daycare. She was not there. So it says here that following the arrest of Fravel, Kingsbury family said that they are distraught from the news of the arrest and it's all hitting home at once. And I can only imagine and I can only send my greatest condolences and prayers. I am so sorry that this is the result. We could all have hoped that, she just needed some time and was going to come back, and you just hope that there's going to be some explanation, but sadly this is the explanation. And I'm so sorry to the Kingsbury family. Now, in the court documents, I believe these are the ones that I had put up already. They're all on the playlist. April 13th. Yes, those are all the ones that I put up. So they're all
Pix tiene todo lo que quieres ver en un solo lugar. Descarga Pix y escoge tu experiencia ya.
I apologize. And here, and you can see this in the because Maddie and her sister were talking throughout the day before. So that's how they were also able to really pinpoint the little amount of time that she went missing until when Adam was seen again. He did lawyer up right away, which arguably anybody should if they're accused of a crime, and a good attorney will tell you to keep your mouth shut. So, you can't glean too much here other than, I guess, the obvious at this point. Um, and there's Maddie, just absolutely just the natural beauty. She represents the Minnesota girl. The Minnesota people out here are not showy. I'm from the West Coast. I've been out here for 15 years, so I've understood and learned to become more like this. I don't wear makeup anymore. I wear makeup maybe a handful of times in a year because it's just not a thing out here. People wear their sweatshirts and jeans and tennis shoes, and it is fine. You can show up to a concert like that, go out to dinner like that, just casual. People are very much come as you are. Whereas, when I was in the West Coast, it was very, very much the opposite. People are not into fake anything out here. It's very realistic, and she just represents that. And that smile is just the most genuine smile you would see. And everybody, there is not one person who has anything bad to say about this girl. They all say about how she lived for her kids. And she was that mom that didn't want to do anything on a Friday or Saturday night other than get things ready for her kids and be there. And she was a good student, good mom, had an amazing degree for as young as she is, and an amazing job. And she was a good girl. Now, this is just very repetitive, saying the same things. So there isn't really anything else to say here other than what I have already said. Um, yep, it's there. It's all there. This is all from April. So that's what we know right now. Please, everybody, please send prayers of comfort to the Kingsbury family. She came from love. She was loving and was loved. And in that spirit, let's send them love and positive vibes. And please, please, if you do feel so moved to donate, please make sure that it is directly to the Kingsbury family from a GoFundMe that they promote, if they promote for expenses. I will share that link after I verify. I'm assuming there will be one. Please do not give money to anybody else for any other purpose, as there's already been so much of that. And let's just keep everything straightforward. I will, like I say, I will, if and when a GoFundMe comes up, I will share it on my page after I definitely make sure. I will contact the family and be sure that it is them. So I will do that as a local and with the contacts that I have made here. So thank you for listening. Please send love and prayers of comfort to the Kingsbury family at this time. I will continue to update you as I know more. And thank you for listening. Thank you. Thank you.